Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I've got another homesteading video for you, and we're going to do a quick update on the seed starts. Okay, so this is our seed starts. One of the things I've been noticing is everything's a little lengthy, whatever you want to call it, probably because my grow light is a little too far away. All the stuff is looking a little bit like it's stretching out for the sun, so if I can get that light down a little bit, I might try to do that. The only problem with that is when I get the light down, I'm going to be cutting off light around the edges. Oh yeah, and this is the kale. I replanted that with kale, so all my lettuce seed seems to be bad. I'm gonna have to go and get some new lettuce seed. I replanted this with Chinese cabbage. Let's move on to the raised bed that these are gonna go into. Well, today we're in the garden and we're going to be working on expanding our new garden area. We got some new raised beds that are on the way, and I want to get some plastic down like we did before. Seemed to work really well. I was gonna bring you on the ride for this one. So we already got some of it down, and we're going to work on putting the last section down. I'll show you how I do that. We're using a 6 foot by 100 foot. This is DuraWeave geotextile fabric, commercial grade. You want to get something that's commercial grade. This is from Menards, actually. I don't know if you can see that. This is like for roads and stuff. This is a woven instead of spun. You don't want the spun fabric. Woven will last longer. Spun tends to hold the dirt and allows stuff to grow in it. Spun is also usually used for filtering, not for strength and stuff, so definitely want the woven fabric. Now if you're wondering how you keep the ends from fraying real bad, I'll show you a trick. Alright, one of the tricks to keeping this stuff from fraying is to melt the ends instead of just cutting it. So that's what we're going to do real quick. At the same time keeping the grass from burning. I'm just using a propane torch. So if you have these nice green lines, you can just line them up with the green lines. This one has lines every 2 foot on it instead of, I believe it's 8 inches. Just using a 2-pound sledgehammer to drive these stakes. I'm just using a torch again, and we're just gonna melt it off. Just pick a spot where you want it. Doesn't have to be perfect unless you want it to be perfect. Alright, so I've got the Anleolife Raised Beds here. I've already put one together. I got another one to put together. I'm going to show you kind of how it goes together. So far, pretty liking these way better than the Best Choice. These seem to be built a lot better. They're a little bit thicker, it seems like, and the rolled edge is really nice on them. The one other big thing is they came with all the screws, and I didn't have to go get new screws like I did for the Best Choice ones. This is the box that comes in. Like I said, it's a Anleolife. Anleolife? I don't know, something like that. It doesn't have very many color options. It's like a gray and a white, and I think there might be one other color. Alright, we'll put the third piece right here, and then we'll do the other side, and I'll get these 2 corners done. And then what I do is I work with the flat panels and put them in between. Oh yeah, just 4 panels on each side. Like I said, the support brackets, and these are pretty thick. They go on the second screw and on the second seam from both ends. Let's see what I'm doing on the inside here. there's the raised bed. I've got 5 wing nuts and 4 extra screws on this one. I think the last one I didn't have as much, but that could be because the kids ran off with them. So let's talk about these raised beds. So this right here is the Best Choice beds. Now we bought 2 sets for these beds, and the 2 sets consist of this one bed and this round bed. That's for one set. And the other set is that bed and that other round bed. So originally these were supposed to be double stacked. So these 2 ends were actually supposed to be on top of each other. And this was supposed to be a taller bed. It only gave us about a 5-foot bed. So we went ahead and changed that, and this gives us somewhere around an 8. I'll do some measurements here in just a second. We'd much rather have it like this. This is about a 17.5-inch tall bed, the way it is. Otherwise it would have been about a 32-inch tall bed, and that's a little more soil than we wanted to put into these. And a little bit of bending over allows us to be able to reach the whole bed too. So we like this setup. Of course, we've got this bed set up with our cattle panel arches, and this is so we can grow things like green beans, our acorn squash, or squash in general, and our cucumbers, all that type of stuff, the climbing plants. All right, let's see what the actual size of these are. So the top opening is just about 33 inches or 2 foot 8 inches. The full length of the oval, 93 inches or 7'9", not quite 8 feet. And might as well check the height for you. Yeah, we're sitting right at 17 inches on height. Round bed's 32 inches in diameter. Like I said, this is the Best Choice raised bed. One of the things we don't like about the Best Choice beds is the rust. They've already started rusting. We've had them since about 23. They've been sitting out pretty much ever since we got them. We put them together. We didn't have soil in them for a while, and then for about half a year, then we finally got them to the spot where we wanted them and put soil in them. So one of the things to note right off the bat when we first got these is when we started putting these beds together, the hardware actually, like the screws that it came with, they were short. So they show on their website, I should say on their Amazon page, the different configurations. This is one of the configurations they do show, where you have a full 8-foot bed and then a small round bed. But they do go ahead and show that you can do this configuration, but they don't give you enough hardware to actually do it. The other thing that we noticed is it's supposed to come with a rubber lip, and that rubber lip is only meant for that one single stack 5-foot bed. This is actually too long. This one by itself is too long for the rubber strip. It didn't even cover it. So we had to go buy screws for all these. Quite a few screws too, because it was short a number of screws. Now this was a cheaper bed. Put the price right here that it is now. It was cheaper when we bought it. I think this was only about $75 when we bought it. I think it's now in the hundreds. It is a cheaper bed, so obviously they've cheapened up some of the paint on this. Especially it's really rusting. Like there's more and more places rusting every time I come out here. I'm not got high hopes that this is going to last a long time. I have a feeling it'll last 5-10 years, but it's not going to definitely not going to last like 20 years like a birdie will. And that's the reason why we went with the Anleolifes over here. So these are the Anleolife Raised Beds. Now these are advertised as 12 foot by 3 foot. They're actually 11 foot and 9 inches, 11 foot 8 inches, somewhere around there, and 34 inches across. So not quite 3 foot by 12 like they advertise. They're still pretty big. So one of the first things we noticed right off the bat, it does look like this coating on the Anleolife is a little bit better than the Best Choice. I have a lot more hopes for this one to last a lot longer before it starts rusting. One of the things I will note right off the bat, that once we put the soil in it, that really aggravated me. The bowing right here in the middle. The bowing, the middle section is bowed real bad, and I believe that is because our ground is slightly curved in like a slight little depression right here. Not really depression, just a draw. And because of that, when I put the soil in, that weight on the sides of the raised bed had kind of squished them down and folded them a little bit. Now that's one thing that if you're gonna get real long beds, like these 12 footers, you're gonna probably need to level your ground. Now this looked pretty level to me, so it's gonna show any type of unlevel ground at all. I think the one thing that would have fixed this really well is this has supports on this end and that end, but does not have supports in the middle. I believe if we had supports in the middle, we probably wouldn't have had this problem. This isn't the only bed. I've seen another Anleolife after I bought these, another review, and somebody else said that they had the same problem with the bowing in the middle because they didn't have middle supports. Now we bought 2 kits of this as well. We really liked this because it was so long. So for the price, we got quite a bit of growing footage, and this was like the perfect size for the spot we wanted right here. It's a shame that they didn't have the supports in the middle. If they had that in there, I think we wouldn't have the bowing issue. I'd probably be prone to get these again, at least as of right now. I've only had these out for probably about 2 months or 3 months, but I haven't seen any issues as far as rusting goes. The Best Choice ones are definitely rusting already. If these start rusting by the next year, I'll definitely make a review and let you know an update on this. I think with the Anleolifes, you probably would have been okay to go with a smaller bed, like an 8-foot bed. I don't think you'd have that issue. I think they probably give you supports for the 8-foot bed. If they don't, then it's not a good one to get. Now, a little bit different on this one than the Best Choice. The Best Choice is 2 end pieces, and then the way we have it set up is 2 side pieces on each side. This one is 3 end pieces, so I didn't really care for that because a lot more you have to put a lot more pieces together. And we got 4 side pieces here. A lot more connections. This took a long time to put together because there's a lot of screws to put together. Keep that in mind when you're buying these. These do take a little while to put together. Not hard, it just time consuming to spin all those nuts. Now we did have enough hardware with this, and this one has a rolled top edge, so it didn't come with any protection. Like I said, the coating feels like a lot better. It's a lot more glossy. I think it'll last a lot longer. If I was gonna go with one or the other, I'd probably go with the Anleolife and skip the Best Choice. The Best Choice, it's really cheap, but there's a reason why it's really cheap. So one of the new things we got on the homestead is some game cameras. Now we had some issues with the dog barking late at night, and we were trying to figure out what was bothering her. And so we got some game cameras, and this is what it was. Expecting this when I woke up. It was like 66 degrees yesterday. That snow went across the field, it's great.